Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Prasad Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. The PKR headquarters in Petaling Jaya became a battleground of sorts this afternoon, with two opposing groups facing off. But it didn't last long after they were asked to disperse by party president Anwar Ibrahim. Supporters of PKR Vice President Zuraida Kamaruddin gathered at the party headquarters this afternoon in solidarity with her, as she was expected to make an appearance to respond to a show cause letter issued by its disciplinary board. The party HQ wasn't the only place they gathered. In a show of strength, they gathered in a total of 10 locations across the country, including in Penang. This may have made the rival faction aligned with PKR President Anwar Ibrahim feel uneasy, so they held a gathering of their own at the party headquarters. But unlike the violent and bloody PKR Youth Convention, no physical altercations took place. The most the two groups did was shout at each other, as police kept them apart. Zuraida herself did not show up. She was represented by her political secretary, Anwar Ibrahim, who handed her response to a representative of the disciplinary board.
Pada hari ini tepatlah 14 hari tarikh untuk menjawabnya, dan oleh kerana Yang Berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida hari ini ada urusan mesyuarat kabinet di Putrajaya, jadi saya selaku setiausaha politik Yang Berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida mengambil tanggungjawab untuk menyampaikan jawapan kepada notis tunjuk sebab itu yang telah pun, kalau saya dapat tunjuknya, dan telah pun diterima oleh lembaga disiplin betul-betul pada 29 Januari dan lebih kurang jam 12.45 tengah hari tadi.
The side against Zuraida also had something to submit, a memorandum urging her to be sacked by the party for insulting PKR President Anwar Ibrahim during a dinner with Deputy President Azmin Ali at the Renaissance Hotel in Kuala Lumpur.
Ingin menggesa supaya meluncurkan jawatan dalam sebagai anggota Majlis dan juga naib presiden harus diambil tindakan, dan perlu diambil tindakan, dan kami meminta anggota-anggota yang berada di sini untuk mendesak Biro Disiplin.
In Penang, around 150 PKR members gathered in front of the State Party office in Bayan Baru in support of Zuraida. Zuraida's special officer, Harris Idham, said if the party decides to sack her, around 10,000 party grassroots members will be prepared to quit the party. Zuraida may have responded to the show cause letter today, but now she has a letter of demand to deal with from Saifuddin Nasution. Zuraida Kamaruddin has been issued a letter of demand by Party Secretary General Saifuddin Nasution for alleged defamation. When contacted yesterday, Zuraida said she has yet to receive the letter of demand. However, Saifuddin insisted today that the letter of demand was received by Zuraida's office over a week ago. Saifuddin, who is also Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister, announced yesterday that he has issued the letter over his cabinet colleagues' allegedly defamatory remarks against him during a dinner hosted by Azmin Ali at a hotel in Kuala Lumpur last year. On December 8th, Zuraida joined Azmin and several other party leaders at a gathering at the Renaissance Hotel in Kuala Lumpur at the height of a perceived rift within the party, marked by a walkout from the final day of PKR's annual Congress. If you're currently stuck in Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, getting out would be a problem. This is why the Malaysian government wants to do something to help Malaysians get home. Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the Malaysian government is in talks with China to evacuate Malaysian citizens who are currently trapped in Wuhan. Mahathir said there are 78 Malaysians currently trapped in the province following the Chinese government's lockdown to curb the spread of the coronavirus that has left 135 people dead in China. He added that if they were allowed to return, they would be subjected to a 14-day quarantine to make sure they are not infected. In a statement this morning, Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said there are 3 more cases of the coronavirus that has been reported in Malaysia, bringing the total confirmed cases to 7. He said all 7 cases involved Chinese nationals. A Malaysian who is currently trapped in Wuhan with his family has spoken to KiniTV. What is it like to be stuck in the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak? This is the story of Bala.
Hi, I just come out from my apartment after almost 6 days quarantine at home. I just want to throw the rubbish inside the dustbin. I can show you the view scenery outside my apartments. Here we go.
There are 78 Malaysians currently trapped in Wuhan following China's lockdown of the province. Balachandra Subramanian, his wife and 2 kids are among those who can't leave. Bala is a PhD candidate at the China University of Geosciences in Wuhan, majoring in the field of geochemistry. According to Bala, following the lockdown, Wuhan is no longer how it used to be.
Current situation now is almost is 4th day of after the Chinese New Year. So the current situation now, it's actually I can see no people. Outside. Totally the city, like let's say there is 100 people outside commonly we can see, but now only about 1 or 2%. That also is a very rare. In between few hours we can see people just walk around outside. So it's like all the premises, all the like shops and the market completely they closed down.
Bala said if Putrajar's negotiations with China are successful, he hopes to return to Malaysia. With food supplies that would last 2 or 3 more days, the coming days are filled with uncertainty as Bala isn't sure if the shops outside are left open to restock on supplies.
We don't know whether the outside shops or market could be open or not be open. So even though open, it can be the meat can be fresh or not fresh. Also, it's like doubtful. So it's like blind. So what going to happen?
Despite the uncertainty, Bala still remains hopeful that the Malaysian government, through its embassy in China, will pull through to assist them if the situation deteriorates further. The spread of fake news and hate speech that cause racial tensions will not be tolerated in Malaysia, according to the Prime Minister.
The government will take action against those who publish fake news to frighten Malaysians and incite racial hatred, said Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. He also warned the press against engaging in such activities. Mahathir said while there is press freedom, this does not mean the press should agitate people or cause people to be antagonistic towards one another. Mahathir said this in response to reports that mosques and museums would restrict the entry of foreign visitors following concerns over the coronavirus outbreak. He said it is not the government's policy to bar non-Muslim tourists from mosques. Earlier today, authorities announced that they had arrested 1 individual and are tracking down 4 others in regards to fake news on the coronavirus. This came after the government's warning that action would be taken against those who spread fake news or unverified news on the coronavirus outbreak in Malaysia.
While the coronavirus dominates headlines locally and internationally, I still think we should talk about how we behave on the roads. It's just claiming too many lives, way too many.
The alarming number of deaths caused by road accidents continued to rise on the 10th day of Absalamat 16/2020 with a total of 150 deaths. The deaths were a result of 138 fatal road accidents since the road safety operation was launched on the 18th of January in conjunction with the Chinese New Year celebrations. Bukit Aman Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Director Azizman Alias said motorcyclists and pillion riders made up the largest number of fatalities with 102 deaths. He said Selangor recorded the highest number of fatalities with 25 cases. Azizman said a total of over 260,000 summonses were issued to traffic offenders, mostly for offences which include using a mobile phone while driving, speeding, driving on the emergency lane and overtaking on a double line.
Coming up next, China is focused on defeating the coronavirus, but how? Despite Zimbabwe's economic situation, locals are being resourceful. All that and more after this. China's top leader said on Tuesday that the nation was sure to defeat the devil coronavirus that has killed more than 100 people in China.
Checkpoints now surround China's Hubei province, home to nearly 60 million people and the epicenter of the coronavirus. Every driver and passenger that passes in and out of Hubei is tested, and anyone with a high temperature is told to go to a hospital immediately. 3 Russian regions have also now closed their borders with China, while Hong Kong has suspended its high-speed rail and ferry services to the mainland as concerns over the spread of the virus increases. In Japan, the government is sending a chartered flight to Wuhan to evacuate its citizens. France, the United States, Germany and Spain are among the other countries doing the same, with the United Kingdom expected to follow suit. The coronavirus has now killed over 100 people in China and infected at least 4,500 there. On Tuesday, China's President Xi Jinping told the head of the World Health Organization that the virus was a devil and China is confident of winning the battle against it. More than a dozen countries now have confirmed cases. Thailand has the second highest number of cases after China and is doing everything it can to contain the spread.
Zimbabwe has been facing one of its worst cash crunch in a decade, with inflation rate at 175%. Despite that, visual artists in the country are finding ways to express their creativity and in the process make some money.
Bernard Sakarombe was fashioning his latest piece. It was going to be a woman, but he was not sure yet what she would be doing, because as he claimed, it could not be decided by his own will.
The stone and I communicate. It tells me how it wants me to manipulate it. I cannot force it to do what I want.
Zimbabwe's stone sculptures are also quite popular among the European collectors, according to Sakarombe.
We have between 62 and 65 types of stone that we use. Some of the places where they are found are still not discovered, so the generations to come can use them. Our stones are popular because they are weather resistant. They do not get damaged in the extreme cold in Europe.
For some other artists, the economic crisis that the country is going through becomes their source of creativity.
The pressure that was applied on people started to make them think out of the box, and that's why you find out living not even only art, even in music.
A young artist might not afford to buy the materials that they want. Paints are expensive, brushes are expensive. Then they will go onto the street and find anything that somebody else has thrown out and repurpose that and make something wonderful.
Zimbabwe's real GDP growth rate for 2019 was negative 7.1%, but to these artists, hardship is not stopping them from expressing themselves. It only enriches their creations.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.